You're watching CW6 News at 4.
He is a loving husband and father of 2 young kids.
Heartbreak in San Diego. 1 officer killed, another wounded, and 2 suspects already in custody. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Neda Iranpour.
And I'm Jason Austell. A very sad day today in our city as we mourn the death of the San Diego police officer killed in the line of duty.
Officer Jonathan, known as J.D. de Guzman, was shot and killed last night. This happened during a traffic stop in the South Crest neighborhood. His partner, Officer Wade Irwin, was also shot. Irwin was taken to Scripps Mercy Hospital in Hillcrest, where he underwent emergency surgery early this morning, and police say he is expected to fully recover.
We have complete team coverage of what led up to that fatal shooting and the suspect search that followed. Our Nancy Aziz is standing by with what we know about the fallen officer and how the community is coming together.
And we're going to begin with our Carlos Correa, who's joining us live from the police headquarters. Carlos, what are we learning about exactly what happened last night?
Right now, investigators are trying to determine the circumstances surrounding the shooting. Was it a vehicle stop or a pedestrian stop that ended up killing a 16-year-old veteran of the San Diego Police Department? Just before 11 p.m. Thursday evening, 2 police officers with San Diego's gang unit announced they were making a stop and then quickly requested emergency cover.
It happened extremely quickly. Very quickly.
Officer Jonathan de Guzman, or J.D. as he was known, and his partner, Officer Wade Irwin, were shot in the chest. Both men were wearing bulletproof vests and body cameras.
This is one of the most difficult and heart-wrenching situations for police officers to go through.
The incident happened on the 3700 block of Acacia Groveway in South Crest. Investigators followed a trail of blood to a ravine in the 1300 block of South 38th Street. There, they found one of the suspects suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover.
And we all took an oath to protect and serve all of our communities. And to have this happen to our police officers, we have seen this happen way too many times just in these last few weeks across our great country. It is tragic for everyone.
In Shelltown, SWAT team members surrounded a home on the 4000 block of Epsilon Street for most of the morning. Officers didn't find anyone there, but eventually placed a person of interest in custody at 42nd Street in Boston.
We are still actively investigating the crime scene, including searching for any possible remaining suspects.
A spokesperson for the San Diego Police Department says Officer Irwin, a 9-year veteran of the force, joined the gang unit just last month. Meanwhile, Officer de Guzman had been in it for years. There is a press conference that has been scheduled for 4:30, and we'll bring that to you live. Reporting live in downtown, Carlos Correa, CW6 News.
Mayor Kevin Faulconer was out of town with his family when he got word of the shooting, but he's now on his way back to San Diego. In the meantime, he's issued this statement saying in part, quote, "Last night, we lost one of San Diego's finest. We grieve for our fallen officer and stand with his family during this very difficult time. We also pray for the second officer shot last night as he recovers from surgery. Violence against the men and women who wear the badge is violence against us all. I ask all San Diegans and people across the nation to join together in support of the officers who courageously protect our communities."
While both officers are department veterans, they're also family men. Nancy Aziz joining us now with a closer look into the men behind the badge. Nancy.
Well, we know that both officers were deeply committed to protecting the community and to their families. 16-year department veteran Officer J.D. de Guzman had 2 young children that he talked about often. Chief Shelley Zimmerman said she knew de Guzman personally and worked with him when they were both in the Mid-City Division. She was visibly shaken when she talked about de Guzman, saying the gang unit officer really cared about the community and protecting people, keeping them safe. His partner, 9-year department veteran Wade Irwin, has a young child as well and a wife. He is also in the gang unit, and Zimmerman says he was every bit as dedicated to his job.
He is still in serious condition, but we are grateful to say he is expected to survive the attempt on his life. Please continue to keep his family also in your thoughts and prayers.
And many people are doing just that. Outside the police department, one man set up a hugging booth to show his support for officers. Others dropped off flowers and candles. Now, Zimmerman thanked the community for its support in this very difficult time. We will have more on the story coming up at 4:30. Jason and Netta, back to you.
Officer Jonathan de Guzman was the 33rd officer to be killed in the line of duty in San Diego police history. That dates back to 1913, according to the Officer Down Memorial. De Guzman's also the third San Diego police officer killed by gunfire since 2010. Of the 33 line of duty deaths, 19 have been by gunfire. The last officer who was killed on the job was police officer Jeremy Henwood. You may remember back in August of 2011, Henwood was the officer who purchased a meal for a small child at a McDonald's at City Heights. When he left the restaurant, he was shot and killed by a man on University Avenue. The 36-year-old officer, who served tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, died in a hospital early the next day. Next week will mark 5 years since his death.
Condolences are pouring in from across the country. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump also weighing in, tweeting this morning about the shooting. He said 2 policemen just shot in San Diego, 1 dead. It is only getting worse. People want law and order. Trump says combating crime is a critical part of his campaign platform. His running mate, Mike Pence, also speaking out during a press conference today in Indiana.
San Diego, California, saw a police officer fall in the line of duty, another injured. This is a very challenging time in the life of law enforcement in this country. And so, as your governor and as a neighbor and as a friend, would you join me in thanking all those who stand on the thin blue line of law enforcement and make sure they know we appreciate them?
Pence went on to offer his thoughts and prayers to the families of Officers de Guzman and Irwin.
And for the latest on the shooting and the investigation, be sure and check out our website, cw6sandiego.com. We also have updates on Twitter and Facebook.
Turning to other news today, a Miramar-based Marine pilot has been killed when his jet crashed east of Palm Springs. Officials say his FA-18C Hornet crashed during a training mission near 29 Palms. Here's a picture of that type of jet. Officials say it all happened about 10:30 last night. The cause of the crash now under investigation. That pilot was a member of the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing. We're working to gather more information and bring you the latest.
A former Spanish teacher at Crawford High School has been sentenced for a 6-month sexual relationship with a student. Toni Nicole Sutton, 38 years old, received 2 years in prison, just a year shy of the maximum sentence. She pleaded guilty last month to unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor and oral copulation with a minor. Prosecutors say the relationship started last summer when the boy was 15. Sutton will also be required to register as a sex offender.
The political conventions, they're over. Now the real work begins. Today, both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump hit the campaign trail, taking their pitch to voters on the road. Diane Gallagher is in Washington with the highlights from the last night of the DNC.
I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
During a star-studded event, Hillary Clinton reintroduced herself to the world.
Through all these years of public service, the service part has always come easier to me than the public part. I get it that some people just don't know what to make of me.
In an effort to unite her party, the candidate recognized her primary opponent.
I want to thank Bernie Sanders. I want you to know, I've heard you. Your cause is our cause.
And attacked her political rival, Donald Trump.
He wants to make America great again. Well, he could start by actually making things in America again. So just ask yourself, do you really think Donald Trump has the temperament to be commander-in-chief? Donald Trump can't even handle the rough and tumble of a presidential campaign. A man you can bait with a tweet is not a man we can trust with nuclear weapons.
The campaign now moves toward the general election as Clinton attempts to become the first woman president of the United States.
When there are no ceilings, the sky's the limit.
In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
And it has now been confirmed the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee was the target of a recent hack. The DCCC raises money for Democratic congressional candidates, and they may have been hacked as recently as June. Investigators say the hack is similar to other recent incidents, including the DNC email breach. The Russians are thought to be behind the DNC attack, but so far the FBI has not found anything to link the two.
No more picking and choosing which media outlets can cover Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's events. That is what his running mate Mike Pence wants to see happen within the next few months. Trump's had a history of banning members of the media who he says have treated him unfairly. Pence says he's a huge supporter of freedom of the press, whether the reporting is fair or not. He's working with campaign staff to try to reverse the trend.
Straight ahead on CW6 News at 4, we're continuing to cover the latest on San Diego police officer killed in the line of duty.
Can we just grab the officer, throw him in the car, and take him straight to the hospital?
Well, we're now learning about both officers and their history on the force.
And a 911 call reveals what one witness said he saw leading up to the police shooting in Miami. The new information from that ongoing investigation.
The criminal investigation into the Flint, Michigan water crisis continues as charges have been brought against 6 state employees.
And taking a look at our weather, yes, still muggy. When's it all going to end? I'll let you know. Also, the heat is here. We've dropped down a little bit temperature-wise. There's a little bit of change in store for us, especially when it comes to those thunderstorms. Keep it here.